was in PA from my dad went away when I was 9 or 10, and I was there ever since because that's where my mom was from. So I ended up going back, working at my buddy's pizza shop. Shout out Joyo's. And I was uploading my high school diploma, which is over there with all my 1099 since I graduated high school. And I was uploading that diploma as a job resume on like different sites like Indeed. I got an automated email from an insurance company. I thought it was a scam because I didn't know like what life insurance was or anything like that. And I was like, that's got to be a scam. You know what I mean? Especially if they didn't like review legitimately my credentials, which is nothing. You know what I mean? I don't really even legitimately have like a high school education. So I got that automated email. I drove up to the office in Pittsburgh. There was Maseratis in the parking lot. I had cornrows, and I was probably 145 pounds when I graduated high school. And man, I was just, I don't know, I was just kind of mesmerized. So.
All right, man, welcome back to A Trade in Perspective. It's your host, Jaylen. Got a special guest with me today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Tristan. Nice to meet you guys.
Tristan, tell me what you do, bro.
Oh, okay, cool. So I run a life insurance company in Chicago. I've been in the insurance industry going on 6 years. Yep.
What made you get into insurance, though?
So getting into life insurance for me, it's actually like I wouldn't say weird story. I'll say like God story, because I was at a like extreme low in my life. Just graduated high school, and I was 2 months out of high school. And I was actually trying to rebuild a relationship with my dad, who was probably a couple years, maybe 1 or 2 years out of jail. And so it just didn't work out. I'm praying, hoping that, you know, something will happen with my life. I knew I always wanted to be successful. And, you know, I ended up moving back to PA. I was in PA from, my dad went away when I was 9 or 10, and I was there ever since because that's where my mom was from. So I ended up going back, working at my buddy's pizza shop. Shout out Joyo's. And I was uploading my high school diploma, which is over there with all my 1099 since I graduated high school. And I was uploading that diploma as a job resume on like different sites like Indeed. I got an automated email from an insurance company. I thought it was a scam because I didn't know like what life insurance was or anything like that. And I was like, that's got to be a scam. You know what I mean? Especially if they didn't like review legitimately my credentials, which is nothing. You know what I mean? I don't really even legitimately have like a high school education. So I got that automated email. I drove up to the office in Pittsburgh. There was Maseratis in the parking lot. I had cornrows, and I was probably 145 pounds when I graduated high school. And, man, I was just, I don't know, I was just kind of mesmerized. So, and then come to find out, just getting into life insurance, aside from the culture and the expectations the individual has for their individual agency or brokerage, the only prerequisites is a life insurance license, which is a couple $100 and takes you a couple hours if you're, like, really working hard on it.
Like when you first applied, though, was you locked in, or you? Was like,
oh yeah, bro. Like my car insurance. I always tell everybody like, because it's kind of nuts. Like my car insurance after the first year was like almost $1,200 a month because I fell asleep behind the wheel so many times, and I was just like running off the road or bumping into people because I was not sleeping. Like I was working 24/7.
So like, what did your first year like look like doing the insurance though?
It was literally just like trying to generate life insurance presentations any means possible through the company that I was associated with and still am associated with. They have a lead provision system. Yeah. And those leads get distributed based off performance. And so I was just trying to leverage the leads to get as many presentations as possible, network through my own network to get as many presentations as possible. And if I wasn't getting a presentation in, I was sleeping, you know what I mean? Or maybe getting a little workout in or.
Right. So kind of tell people like what is life insurance though, because a lot of people don't know what that is. A lot of people don't have it. Like people's families be dying, kids be dying. Like there's no benefits. So like,
I always tell people it's not life insurance, it's death insurance. You know what I mean? It's not the most pleasant insurance to talk about, but then again, there really isn't much insurance anybody enjoys talking about.
Right.
Car insurance, you know, the phone insurance, any type of insurances you have, everybody always looks at it as a bill, a liability, and not truly, especially when it comes to your life. You know what I mean? If you protect your car for a couple $100 a month, you protect your phone for $50 a month, and all these individual things and materialistic things we have protection over. But then again, at the end of the day, what's the most important thing? The thing that produces all those things. And so the life insurance protects that, which is the asset that's actually producing all of the abilities for you to even own or dabble in liabilities and assets, whatever it might be. So life insurance is setting aside a couple dollars a day to make sure the individuals that you leave behind never have to worry.
I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of time in the black community, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People talk about like the argument about whole life or regular insurance, like, what would you say we recommend? Like,
so
does it depend on people's situation, or do you feel like there's one that's better than the other?
One that's going to pay out is the best. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But to answer your question more technically, and for the individuals that are watching as well, everyone's going to have an opinion in regard to how you should invest into insurance. And I would just say your opinion is right. You know what I mean? Right. So if your opinion is you believe in having term, paying the least amount of premium possible, not building any type of cash value, any type of equity in the policy, or having a guaranteed payout just because you have a temporary problem, and if that's your opinion and your perspective and you're comfortable with that, then you should invest in term. If you believe you want just a guaranteed policy to pay out and you aren't looking to make it risk, applied as well and apply risk to the policy, then, get whole life, have a guaranteed payout, build a little bit of equity. And then the third opinion, I would think generally when it comes to life insurance, is the variable products that are actually indexed in the market. And so based off market performance, these policies will fluctuate and people can show you projections of what they think you'll have. But then again, now you're applying risk into a security product. You know what I mean? So it's like, why apply insert or have inclusivity with some type of investment product that was only meant to invest into your family's financial future, not a living benefit? So it really depends on the opinion you have, though. I just don't like when people disguise different categories or investments of insurance and deliver them to people and not properly communicate that it's like, hey, if you're just looking for something to protect your family and make sure things just are in place whenever you pass away, then invest in life insurance in general. But when people start, you'll hear the infinite banking and you can get rich off of owning a life insurance policy. Here's what I always ask everybody. If we could get so rich off owning the policy, why are we all here selling it?
Right.
Why didn't we just get rich off the policy? Why didn't I just get rich off this great policy that I have secret knowledge and access to 6 years ago when I got into insurance?
Yeah.
Why didn't I just become a billionaire overnight? Like some of the media, you'll see people portray like life insurance, infinite banking, get a policy and you'll be a millionaire, and you can take out of the policy to invest back into the policy, and you can avoid this and avoid that and no taxes. It's like, well, this shit sounds really sweet. Why am I here peddling it all day?
So it's bullshit, huh?
Yeah. So I won't completely say a product like that is bullshit. I don't like when somebody wraps something in something that it's not. It's death insurance. And I feel like if we study history, the people that get rich from life insurance, even in comparison to the ones that inherit legitimate policies, will still always be the guy selling it.
Yeah, that's true.
Or owning it. You know what I mean? It's
that's
like,
true.
I've made a lot of money, and it wasn't from the policy.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, though. You started off insurance 6 years ago.
Yes.
You was working with a company. So how did you come about, like, I'm going to let y'all know, man, this guy's got a nice office. Like, I'm looking like, man, it looks great. Yeah. So, like, how did you get to here today? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. So I would say the first and always, and I'll always revert back to my faith, and not even to like build it up cheesy or it's like that's the thing to say, but it really truly is. You know what I mean? Like I look back and I'm like, I have no idea how I got to where I'm at without referencing God. You know what I mean? So that's first and foremost and last. You know what I mean? That's the period on everything as well. But I know in addition to that, it's the mentorship and God led me to, my partner, Simon Arias. So that's my business partner now, but I started with his agency at 18 years old. And so having that mentor in a man that had finances, phenomenal relationship with his wife, just showing and displaying something that, one, I never saw in the black community, the loyalty, the advancement in a legal manner, you know what I mean, in a legitimate manner, and just full round, like everything, every aspect of this individual's life we can dissect and be like, I'd trade places with him. And so that mentorship, taking it, executing, and then lastly, just not quitting. I think a lot of people, they'll dabble in really good things and then just give up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, you don't realize how far you've come until you take a moment to kind of reflect. And that's what I share with my guys all the time. I'm like, look how far you come. Imagine how far you can go.
Yeah, like that's the biggest thing. When you start something, everybody starts good them first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that month, maybe the first 6 months. But when you struggle, you know what I'm saying? Like even start with me, like having a podcast, like it's months where I'm doing 3-4 million views a month.
Yeah.
And then stuff drops 700,000 a month, 500. You be like, damn, did my content drop off? But that's what it goes with everything. You got to keep being consistent, persistent in everything you do.
I'm trying to get like you, man.
No, I'm trying to get like you.
I feel like I got a pretty studio, but you got pretty views. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes the views don't tell all the story. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of people that got good content, but it's like you may not just be doing one or two things right, and then, but you could blow up.
Yeah.
Like even with me, like, I don't have the best setup. I'll be traveling to different places, but like people like my content, you know, it's kind of controversial. So, so, you know, you got an office. How many, you know, employees do you have now?
Okay, so I don't like to call them employees. I like to call everybody partners. I've been real weird about like I don't want anybody
the right verbiage.
Yes, the right verbiage, but also like I genuinely mean that. You know what I mean? Like I never speak down, and it's not like an excessive humility where I'm some simp either. You know what I mean? So it's like
I don't think employees is a bad word though.
Yeah, well,
everybody needs look. Not everybody can be a business owner.
Yes, no, 1,000%.
There's millionaire employees.
Yes.
So just because you're an employee doesn't mean you're not adding value to the company. You know what I'm saying? So
but I think the verbiage of in the same context of what you provide is those individuals are provided with the base. When somebody comes and works for me and my company, there's no base. You know what I mean? So I know it's eye for eye, whether what they produce is the same position I was in, and now being, you know, in a franchise ownership position where it's like they're still a 1099 contract. So it's like I'm not there. It's just like subcontract work. You know what I mean? So it's like my employees I wouldn't compare to the average employee, because the only base that we provide is I provide leads, I provide office space, and then essentially, you know, consulting. It's like I'm the one leading, developing, pouring into these individuals and spending years with you know, young men and women and helping them to hopefully have the life that I've been able to build for myself.
So how do you handle that turnover though? Like,
yes. Yeah.
So the uncertainty of like, man, there is no base.
Yeah. I'm very transparent, you know, up front in regard to our hiring process. You know what I mean? If people know what they're signing up for, it's like you're going into entrepreneurship. You're going into entrepreneurship where you're going to be working for yourself, and your paycheck directly corresponds to your output, your input, your internal development, and who you become as a man or woman in this life. And so just that, I feel like just proper communication, you know what I mean? That prevents any type of like ailments or like issues that don't need to essentially even ever originate in the business.
Yeah. So was there some like learning curves you have to learn? Because even still, you might have these conversations, but I'm sure some people that be upset, like, you're not doing this, or you're doing this for this person, not doing this for me. So like, how did you handle those things? Because 6 years ago, you was in cornrows, you know what I'm saying?
So it's definitely been a massive growing scale in general. The most growth has not been in the money that I've made, but more so in the person I've become over the years, and the pain, the trials, the people I've lost, the people that quit on me, you know, the people that, you know, I should have just done way better with, you know what I mean, on a relationship standpoint of view and a leadership standpoint of view. And so, you know, I think for me, it's just been, you know, taking those pains and actually using them to get better, opposed to just allowing them to just transpire and not getting any value from being in the pain that I was in.
Yeah. So I mean, how old are you now?
24.
24.
Yeah.
What kind of money can you make in life insurance?
So last year, gross was 1.1, I think, and the year before that, gross was 1.6, and this year should be closer to 2.
Okay.
So the last 3 years, since I was 22, my 1099s haven't been less than 7 figures. My first year in insurance, I made 114. My second year was 145, and then my third year, so 21, I made 345.
Man, that's some great money at 24. Yes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
so like,
no, it's definitely been a ride. It's definitely been tremendous in regard to where I've come from to where I am now. But there's a huge difference between, I always tell everybody, from a 1099 millionaire to a liquid millionaire. Like, I'm still working towards liquid millions.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the clarity is good to provide as well, just for people watching that feeling like, man,
1099 is no tax.
Yeah, you still no tax, no expenses. So it's like, you can do the math in regard to I have another suite like this. So this is just one. I have another one across the hall.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's a lot of money there. The leads that I buy, you know, that's a significant amount of money. Half the bonuses that we pay out in regard to the bonus structure through Globe Life, American Income Life. So, you know, there's a lot of money that goes out, man. It's damn near $1 million business. So, but that isn't for everybody, like you said. You know what I mean? That's like if you decide. Like, I feel like I made more money off my 400,000 than I did off my 1.6 or 1.1. And the reason being is I wasn't in ownership. I was just a regional manager.
So that's the thing. Everybody wants a lot more money, but a lot more money doesn't mean you actually taking that home.
It's like that Biggie Smalls.
Yeah. So how do you how do you handle that? Like, do you do you ever think like, is it worth it?
Yeah. You know, it's never, is it worth it? It's always, it is worth it. And more so questioning in regard to hopefully the individuals that I'm helping see the worth and value as well. Because I don't care ownership or brand new, there's pain at every level.
Yeah.
And I can remember being brand new and just wondering if I was going to be able to figure out how to even sell life insurance, if this was sustainable, you know what I mean? If this was just like people had to get in at the right time or have the right connections or right network. And so to see it manifest and truly legitimately solidify into an actual career opportunity has been, and not even opportunity for myself, a fulfilled career. You know, I tell people I retired at 21. So it's like, to see that gives me a lot of confidence just in general.
Man, that's a bold statement to say you were retired at 21. Like, that has to be a good feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because after 21, after about 3 hard years in the insurance industry of like hard dog years of lost a lot of sleep, lost a lot of like just time in general, just sacrifice time, birthdays, even like to like, I'll share with people, it's like if you want an uncommon life, you have to be an uncommon person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't be regular. If you're trying to be regular, you're not going to be the, that 1%er, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're like everybody else. So
yes.
Let's transition to that. How is your dating life?
My dating life, yeah. So I feel like me personally, I've been nuts. You know what I mean? Like people always say like the girl's nuts. I feel like I'm kind of nuts, but I've only had like 2 serious relationships, and both were about 2 years.
Okay.
And one was a year into being in insurance. So I've been in insurance for 6 years, and probably 2 of those years I was in a relationship.
So the last few years you've been single.
Yeah. So almost 2 years I think I've been single now.
So how do you handle that though? Like,
yeah,
when you have money, there's different expectations. Even with these females now, the climate nowadays, like.
I'm a very transparent, like, I would say borderline, and just weirdo of like I'm not playing none of them games. You know what I mean?
Like, you Julius from Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah, bro. Like,
so like, yeah, bro. Like, I see a lot of guys. They be saying like, girls want you. You got to buy them a bag to go out on the dates. Like, you have those access to funds. So like, how do you keep yourself disciplined with that? Or like. What advice would you give to other young men?
No, so listen, you know what I mean? Like, I got 2 women I like to spoil right now, my mom and sister. You know what I mean? So it's like my ideology and philosophy on spoiling a woman is probably more than the average. The right woman, my last girl, dang, dude, I mean, she had a Jaguar, Amex, no job. You know what I mean? So I'm talking about
okay. I'm so talking your traditional views.
Yeah, like the right girl that like I'm nuts about. You know what I mean? Like it's not even materialistic as well. I have values of not lusting for another woman. So like I'm praying over my eyes, and I mean that. You know what I mean? I'm not even like just because this sounds good.
Yeah.
Like I'm like serious. Like I'm not dating like a little boy. Like I have intentions of marrying you, right off rip. If I feel like I'm the type of guy where it's like, hey, you the one, I'm gonna marry you.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna marry you right now. You only know me a week. I'm gonna marry you right now. You know what I mean? That's probably like my next case will be like, yo, you're the one. I'm gonna marry you.
So do you feel like your pool of women has changed based off of your financial
my standards increase always, and it's not in direct correspondence to the finances, because I look at finances this way: remove the dollar.
Okay.
The dollar was created. When did the dollar even come into existence? Did it
17, 18, 19?
Who knows?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
So it's like, I can't tell you specifically when the dollar came into existence, but I can tell you if we were to go through our ancestry all the way back to a bartering time where it's even prior to that, where like hunting and gathering was a reflection of wealth. The man that got the best woman, the highest quality woman, not just off of beauty, but just virtue, value, the best all-around woman was the man that did what when it came to hunting and gathering?
That hunted and gathered the most.
That hunted and gathered the most. And so a reflection of currency today is just the man that can provide the most. And so I don't believe in gold diggers to an extent. I believe women are just traditionally expressing who they were biologically wired to do. They're developed for the woman to go find a provider and protector. So I'm a great provider and protector for the right woman. But I do agree on a surface level, there are some women that's just like, oh no, I just want provided for all the time. So it's discernment too, and I think that's where faith and Jesus and my mom and sister, like my next girl got to interview my mom and sister. You know what I mean? Like, because I feel like you'll see memes when it's like, if you have a good woman in your life, like a grandma or just a good God-fearing woman, where you'll see memes where it's like women can like sniff out a bad woman. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I haven't been able to sniff out some crazy girls. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I would have had more of that like that discernment of someone be like, nah, dude, she's crazy. Just to bring in your business even in general, you know what I mean? Right. Like, who should you be bringing in, not bringing in, and like just and I hate to just say, you know, I'm speaking as a man, but like even the dudes as well, like, you know, having like, hey, check his like not like on some weird like tarot cards or anything like that, but like his like energy, you know what I mean? Like, is that like a good person to bring in the circle? A lot more families, businesses, wars were won from the same side than people realize. You know what I mean? Somebody's in your circle listening to your thoughts and your words and your actions and using it to build a weapon to destroy you.
That's true. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think about where I'm at in life right now. It's just, like, some of the qualifications I look at is, like, some people would say, like, they want loyalty and different things. I feel like those things, like, that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I feel like I want somebody low-key, like, can comfort my mind. I can come home and talk to you about different things and, like, having those expectations like that. So, like, what were some of your qualifications you would want from a woman?
I got my list on my phone.
Let's hear it. Look.
Let's go. So this is my wife non-negotiable list, and I was actually inspired by one of our top female leaders in our business. Her name's Savannah, and she has a husband non-negotiable list. And I was like, I got to have one of these and start like manifesting and holding myself accountable to look for this type of woman. Number 1 is love Jesus. Number 2 is honesty. Number 3, which now that I'm thinking about it, this stuff I should take off because this should just be like a no-brainer. Honesty, loyalty, integrity, right. Vision. So I think that would be a little more in depth. And what I mean by vision is, you know, my woman doesn't have to be a billionaire, but I'm not intimidated by my woman desiring to be a billionaire. Okay. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't care either way. You'll hear some man that's like, my girl got to stay home and can't make more money than me. It's like, I really could care less. Like, my ego's in check. Right. Where it's like, if she can out hustle me, God bless her. You know what I mean? Like, I respect the game. So it's like, if she can out hustle me, I ain't gonna allow that to intimidate me from a God-fearing woman. You know what I mean? That would be a great mother. And so supports my work fully. So one another, it's like supports my schedule. Because like I be living in my work. You know what I mean? Like I'm 24/7 trying to be like, go to a bill like soon, not like 70 years old. I'm talking like 40 sounds late, you know? So supports my work, my schedule fully, knows how to cook. I feel like a lot of women like in our generation don't know how to cook no more.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. You know, I want to talk about that next. So I'll finish your list and we're going to transition.
I only got a couple more. This one's nuts. Loves only my movies. So I really like in like action movies. Like old, like for some reason, I'm not too happy in regard to what Hollywood's been doing lately. I feel like it's just gotten a little too soft. Okay. But my movies, number 9, works out. You know, I again, she don't need a 6-pack or anything, but I would hope she would expect me to take care of myself forever. Yeah. So I would expect the same for her. That's all. And a homebody. I don't like going out. I'm not a like, yo, let's go.
Not a clubber.
I'm not a clubber. If I am, backstage, the best table, let's talk to the boss. I'm not coming to praise and make somebody money and I'm here we can network and connect. And I'll go backstage passes and hang out with Lil Wayne. I'm not jumping around with the civilians. Right. You know what I mean? And praising and jumping at a little concert.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless they come to my concert. Homebody, and then number 11's reads. So mental development. So that's it, a list of 11.
I mean, I like that list. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a well-rounded woman. But the problem I've been having is I feel like a lot of times women are expecting us men to provide financially and do different things. But like, do you feel like women nowadays are still doing what women are supposed to do in the traditional standpoint?
No, there has to be an equal amount of reciprocity. And so my boy's been passionate about explaining this philosophy to me, and I've been receptive to at least listening. And he's like, the only reason a household starts to divide is a man is biologically wired to feel desired. We both are equally. Right. But a man in more of a vain way of wanting to feel like a king in his home. And if he doesn't feel like a king in his home, he doesn't come home. And so feeling like a king in your home, maybe your home is clean, organized, food prepared, and you're taken care of. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I've even heard women that I respect say, it's like, I don't mind if the man says, like, he pays for everything, he takes care of everything. And I'll do my part of cook, clean, and everything like that. But like, if you gonna say you pay for everything, this is what you know, a woman said that I really respect. She said, if you gonna claim you sugar daddy and you pay for everything, just make sure that's true. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna do everything on my end. So it's like, I feel like dudes, if you're claiming you're him, but you're you know, having your girl Venmo you after dinner, half the meal.
That's wild. That's wild.
You know what I mean? Then it's like, then I wouldn't expect her to do home duties. You know what I mean? Like, Even if I was going like, unless it was like on a come up, you know what I mean? And you met your girl and you was either in a come up or a get back up. You know what I mean? Everybody talk about the come up stages. Nobody talk about the get back up stages.
No, because if you're a real hustler, you're going to fall down.
Exactly.
So, but do you believe in prenups though? Where you at in your life?
So
is a prenup a mandatory?
Yeah. So it is not a mandatory, but I am like mentally wired, I think, a little differently. And it's because for me, like, you know, one of my pictures on my vision board over there is a reflection text. My mom sent me a screenshot or something of the food bank. So there was a point in our lives where we were so down in the United States of America. So I always reference that because the world has way worse poverty than we do. So like American growing up poor, food bank, food stamps, lights off, water off sometimes, and just no food. And so for me, like the money has been really sweet, and it's more so just a byproduct of my mental extreme focus and like, I wouldn't call it insanity, but I have this infatuation with the rest of my life. I just want to create and produce and work and build. And so I know the money will never be an issue. So it's like, I feel like my faith and commitment to my future wife is going to be like, I don't really need a prenup because this shit don't scare me. Take half, take more than half, because I got it before, I'll get it again. And if you need it that bad and I was that bad to you, you had to take half, then that's me. I messed
That's
up.
A different mindset on it, you know what I'm saying?
But that's like a dog mind. Like, I'm not stopping, you know what I mean? I'm going to stop when God called me home.
I like that.
Yeah.
But never in your fear of your, you know what I'm saying? Like, although you can get it back, it's never that feeling like, dang, I worked so hard for this.
Maybe it's easier for me to say right now, too, because it's a couple mil coming in.
Because you haven't been in there.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're in that situation, like, man, you bust your butt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She might have taken care of you, cooked some meals, but like, man, you're in here slaving every day. Like, you're grinding.
Yeah.
You losing sleep. And for me to rip whatever you build right now, just half of it right now.
Yeah. You know, maybe it's easier for me to say where I'm saying it like so boldly and almost arrogantly, but I still feel like the dog in me is like, man, am I that scared to go get it again? You know what I mean? And I really love, I think I almost love more than fame and love more than the money is legacy, bro. I love, like, my favorite movie is Troy, and I love that, like, we still talk about Greek mythology and these warriors and Hercules and Achilles and these individuals that were just warriors that just looked at life differently of like, I'll go until I die. You know what I mean? Like, you can kill me right here, right now. I'm ready to go for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like as a young man watching that stuff, I think it indoctrinated me to where it's like, I'm ready to run this shit till I die, dude. So it's like, I think again, like, I don't know. I don't think I'll change.
Okay. Like,
I don't know.
It's born in you. Do you feel like since you came from like poverty and you didn't have the best lifestyle growing up, do you feel like that's what made you grind harder? Because a lot of people I heard this thing, like basically every millionaire, the millions in the family break every third cycle. Yeah. Like, you pass down the millions to your kids. Yeah. If they don't do right with it, you know what I'm saying? Time their kids come, like, there's no money left. Because they had nothing to work for, you know what I'm saying? So do you feel like since you didn't have it, that's why you go so hard now?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a piece of it. You know what I mean? Probably a massive piece of just like, you know, just being exposed to wealth. You know, I think at a young age, from having a wealthier best friend growing up, his pizza shop that I worked at, he always had everything. And even before my dad went away, being exposed to a lot of wealth, you know, and so like, and my mom went away too. So it's like still being exposed to, you know, just different parts of my life. The seeds were planted where it's like, this is what life could be like. Yeah. And so as I started to get, and I think that's where like my mental pain, I was such an angry kid in high school. And I think a lot of that derived from the confliction of desiring to be wealthy and hating us for being so broke and so poor. Like, I still remember being so humiliated, you know, when I like started to consciously just recognize, you know, the food stamp card and like just being picked on for, you know, not having, you know, any, like, just much of anything, you know what I mean? Not being able to like afford to go to movies or like running out of gas and things like that. So it's like, or not being able to eat lunch sometimes if the assisted lunch program like shuts off, you know what I mean? Shit like that. So it's like, I remember those days, and I think like,
damn,
man,
that's rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Man. Damn. Like,
yeah,
that's
bro.
rough.
Like, I just remember like, man, I just wanted it so bad. I would do anything to to just get out. But like for me, getting out was like $100,000. After that, like now it's like, which I know it sounds nuts, but it's like everything else. Now I'm just playing, bro. That's why I feel like 21, I retired. You know, it's like once I got over that, you know, $300,000 a year mark, I was like, man, this is easy, dude. Now it's just time to like play. Like, how many lives can we change, impact? What can we create? What can we build? What can we do to contribute to the legacy?
What's your goal?
Number one in the world. Number one, like richest man in the world. But I want to do that through value. You know what I mean? So it's like building up, just having the most, that you don't get there without, you know, product and service distribution. So it's like selling the most life insurance in the world through a company and organization, and paralleling that with social media, you know, get to a T. I don't know.
So, you know, other business industries you're trying to get into?
I think just putting all my money and time into social media and life insurance is pretty much the, you know, life plan. I think those two parallel, you know, so well. Social media parallels with anything right now. If you're not building on social media and taking shots and posting content, long form, short form, on as many flat platforms as possible. I went to the Jake Paul fight, and I can't tell you, I bet all the floor seats were filled with at least 50% were just like social media people. You know what I mean? And even if they're like faking half the shit, the ticket was still $700 to travel there, still a couple bands stay there. It's like still a $4,000 or $5,000 trip. You know what I mean? So it's like they can fake it and credit card it so much, but it costs money to fake it. Still.
Yeah,
it's still like when people say, oh, they're faking it or they're not making what they're really making, they still somehow the faking it has to get paid for. And it's like looking around and seeing all this money being made from social media and how well it just like, because everybody's like talking about like, you know, one of the fads is click funneling and drop shipping. It's like people don't realize that's just points of contact. That's just individuals filtrating through, you know, ads and things like that, where you can literally create your own digital billboard. You are your own digital billboard, and you can create so much value through viewers and consistent viewers that your ad space could be an infinite. You know what I mean? It's like it might, like somebody like to be an ad on Mr. Beast's page. You know what I mean? It's like it's probably worth more than a Super Bowl, you know, ad space. So it's like
he brings so many viewers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, do you think? I look at YouTube as like more of a university, just college. Like, I didn't go to college.
Yeah,
I went for one semester. I was like, bro, this is not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about college?
Yeah, so I'm in agreement with you. You know what I mean? So I don't support college for a majority of individuals because I just think it is a highly taxed and
waste of money.
You know, an extreme amount of money for a party. You know what I mean?
People be like, "Oh, you're missing out on the experience." I'm like, "Bro, you know what I'm saying?"
I feel like the most I ever spent at the club was $15,000, and I feel like people are spending, you know, $100,000 to go to the club. You know what I mean? That's what college appears to me, especially because statistically speaking, there's studies that show the average shelf life of a bachelor's degree right now is about 2 to 4 years. So it's like you just went into $100,000 of debt, $50,000 of debt, or maybe your college was funded for and you had a scholarship. But 4 years is debt. Time you spend not making money is time you spent losing money.
Yeah.
However you want to cut it or look at it. So, you know, 4 years of debt that you never get back just for the next 2 to 4 years for your degree to essentially be worthless. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe you run into the next Mark Zuckerberg at college, so you know that could be lucky.
You can't flip a coin and think you're gonna meet Mark Zuckerberg. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to let's talk about your podcast though.
Yeah.
So what is it called? What are you really trying to aim for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Adversity Kings is just a chill podcast that is like kind of nonchalant. You know, life story, what you've been through, what's going on, what are your views on life right now, just the areas that you're passionate about, and kind of more so also a space where just people that are pursuing success, a low-level individual that can't land like a Logan Paul, a Brad Lee, you know, a big podcast, or get on, you know, the whatever, you know what I mean, a massive platform, kind of being the yes man to the people that are trying to like almost like Shark Tank their ideas and who they are and sell it out there, but nobody's giving them a shot. You know what I mean? Because I remember being the guy that nobody gave a shot to. And I felt like it was going to take years or forever. So it's like I want to help people get a shot quicker and almost start like, you know what I mean, almost looking to invest into these individuals that might have good ideas that are getting overlooked because they're in the seed stages. So kind of like it's almost like digital pitch decks where people like I'm bringing you on to like see if you're like maybe a next superstar that we could, partner up or do something.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's kind of my idea with it.
I interview a lot of people too that also like, the new startups, people more successful, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you're one of the most successful people I've interviewed. I said, I want to just say, give you your flowers. Like, you know what I'm saying? You do a lot of good things, and I'm just noticing, sometimes you have to support people from the background. So, what I'm saying? When you reached out to me, I was like, man, let me check out his social media. I was like, man, this dude's doing great things. Like, you look young.
Yeah.
Doing the thing. Come and see in your office now. People, in there working hard.
Yeah.
So, where can you see, like, your podcast? Like, where do you want it to be?
Yeah, man. So I do it like this. I feel like I look at Mr. Beast and I look at, like, Joe Rogan. I look at these individuals that have, hundreds of millions of viewers. And I think to myself, if I go hard at this for the next 40 years, or even cut that in half, 20 years. By the time I'm, 44 years old, could I at least be 10% of Mr. Beast? And that's $100 million. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I feel like, yeah, I could be 10% of Mr. Beast. I look at him and was like, this is some nerdy white
I like
dude.
how you break it down to percentages. Like,
yes.
Man, if 20 years, I can't be 10% of him.
Yeah, bro. I'm like, and that's a valuation of now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
20 years, his valuation might be $1 trillion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the rate he's growing. So, but he started with 0 subscribers. Like people look
Everybody
at Mr.
does.
Beast and like Michael Jordan, they just think they were born as Mr. Beast or born as Michael Jordan. There was a time that Michael Jordan was just a typical like Jason Smith.
Yeah.
Just another name, another nobody. Just putting that work in, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, last thing I want to talk about is like, how do you deal with your slack? Do you ever slack?
Yeah, definitely slack. You know what I mean? I feel like if you don't slack, if you admit that you're not slacking, and your peak is right now, that's as good as it's ever going to get. Because so you have to you always have to say you're slacking, because if you don't, then you're admitting this is as good as it'll ever get. So I'm massively slacking because I want to be 1 billion times farther than I am now. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's immeasurable. I can't put a number on it. There's just, I hope I can get a fraction done of what I really want to get done in this lifetime, and that would be a successful, honorable life. So I'm slacking, you know what I mean? And I'm open to, coaching and advice and from anybody, any age, any place, any color. Like, just it's like, I want to at least hear it because I know I can learn what to do and what not to do. A lot of people, like these semi-famous people on social media just be like not responding and like just thinking they're like the hottest shit in the world. You know what I mean? Too good. Like,
I think about that too. Like sometimes I reach out to people, I was like, man, you shit like me, you bleed like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody thinks these famous people, like their lifestyle is just so much different. Like they may be doing different things, but they're still human. You still had a mom, you still had a dad, you know what I'm saying? You still cry.
Yeah.
Like, so I like how you give everybody a shot. And like, cause you never know. I look at some people, like I interview them, they might not have any many followers. If they blow up, people gonna look their name up. You know what I'm saying? You never know. It always works in the favor. That connection you build, those favors you build. You know what I'm saying? Like
1,000%.
I feel like I built a new connection with you now. So if I got something in the future going on, you know what I'm saying? I'll hit you. You never know how that flowers grow. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast today. Thanks for letting me be in your studio. You know what I'm saying? So
thank you, bro.
I want to say we're going to drop this on the Trillion Perspectives. We're going to shout you out on Adversity Kings. Where all can they find you?
So Windy City Tristan is where I post a lot of consistent content, and that is Instagram and TikTok, and then Adversity Kings on YouTube. That's the umbrella media company that we run, and that's about it.
All right, Raw. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you again.
Let's go. Peace.